I moved into my apartment in Portland 3 years ago. It was a small one-bedroom on the second floor of an old brick building. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. The rent was affordable. The neighborhood was quiet, and I could walk to work in 15 minutes. I thought I'd lucked out. My neighbor across the hall was a man named David, mid-40s, pale skin, thinning brown hair that he kept combed over to one side. He always wore button-down shirts, even on weekends. The kind of guy who looked like he worked in an office but never talked about his job. He had these wire-rimmed glasses that reflected light in a way that made it hard to see his eyes clearly. The first time we met, he was standing in the hallway, holding a bag of groceries. He smiled when he saw me struggling with my keys. "You must be the new tenant," he said. His voice was soft, almost careful. "I'm David, 3B. If you ever need anything, just knock." I thanked him. He seemed polite, normal. For the first few months, our interactions were minimal. A nod in the hallway, a good morning when we passed each other on the stairs. He was quiet. I barely heard him through the walls. I appreciated that. Then one Saturday morning, I was carrying my laundry downstairs. David was coming up. He stopped and held the door open for me. "Thanks," I said. "No problem," he replied. Then he paused. "How's your mom doing, by the way?" Primera stopped, turned around. "What? Your mom?" he said again, his face completely neutral. "I hope she's feeling better." My stomach tightened. My mom had been sick. She'd been in the hospital 2 weeks earlier for pneumonia, but I hadn't told anyone in the building about it. I hadn't mentioned it at work. I barely posted anything online except for one vague story on Instagram that just said "tough week" with no details. Yeah, she's better. Thanks. I forced a smile and kept walking. I told myself maybe I'd mentioned it in passing. Maybe I'd said something to the landlord and David overheard, but I couldn't remember doing that. A few days later, I was checking my mail in the lobby. David came in from outside, carrying a paper bag from the coffee shop 2 blocks away. The same coffee shop I went to almost every morning before work. "Good choice," he said, nodding at the stack of letters in my hand. "That insurance company's pretty reliable. My sister uses them too." Primera lo que down. The top envelope was from my health insurance provider. The logo was visible, but the letter itself was sealed. Unopened. "Yeah," I said slowly. "They're fine." He smiled and walked past me toward the stairs. I stood there for a moment, staring at the envelope. How did he know which insurance company I used? The logo was small. You'd have to be looking closely to see it, and why would he? I shook it off, told myself I was being paranoid, but that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I went through my recent conversations with him in my head. We'd never talked about personal stuff, never exchanged more than pleasantries. So how did he know about my mom? I opened my laptop and checked my Instagram. My account was private. I scrolled through my recent posts. Nothing specific, no names, no hospitals, just that one vague story. I checked my Facebook. Same thing, privacy settings locked down. I wasn't careless about that stuff. So where did he get the information? I tried to let it go, but over the next couple of weeks, it kept happening. I'd be in the hallway, and he'd mention something small. Like how he hoped my car was running better after I got it serviced. I had gotten my car serviced, but I'd never told him. Or he'd ask if I enjoyed the movie I watched over the weekend. I had watched a movie, alone, in my apartment, with the curtains closed. Each time, I'd freeze, try to remember if I'd mentioned it, but I never had. One evening, I was cooking dinner, pasta with marinara sauce. I had the windows open because the kitchen was hot. I was listening to music on my phone, some indie playlist I'd found on Spotify. There was a knock on my door. I turned down the music and looked through the peephole. David. He was holding a small container. I opened the door halfway. "Hey. Hi," he said, smiling. "I made too much sauce tonight and thought you might want some." He held out the container. "It's marinara. Homemade." I stared at the container. Then, at him. "I'm actually making pasta right now," I said carefully. "With marinara." His smile didn't change. "Oh, Perfect timing then. I didn't take the container. How did you know I was making pasta? He shrugged. I could smell it. The garlic. Plus, I saw you carrying groceries yesterday. Looked like you had pasta boxes in the bag. I had bought pasta, but the bag was opaque. A reusable grocery tote. He couldn't have seen inside unless he was standing right next to me. And he hadn't been. Thanks, I said, taking the container just to end the conversation. I appreciate it. Anytime, he said. He stood there for a moment longer, like he was waiting for me to say something else. Then he nodded and walked back to his apartment. I closed the door, locked it, put the chain on. I looked at the container in my hand. I didn't open it. I put it in the fridge and tried to forget about it, but I couldn't. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. The apartment was silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator. I kept thinking about the sauce, about the timing, about how he always seemed to know things. I got up and checked my windows, all closed and locked. I checked my door. Chain on, deadbolt turned. I told myself I was overreacting, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. It began with small things. I'd leave my apartment, and seconds later, David's door would open. He'd step out, pretending to check his mail, and we'd end up in the hallway. He'd always make small talk, but then he'd slip in something specific, something he shouldn't know. Like asking if I enjoyed my solo lunch at that new Thai place downtown. I hadn't posted about it, hadn't told anyone. Then he mentioned my package had arrived. Minutes before I even got the notification, I started changing my routine, turning off location services, going completely dark online. It didn't matter. Este Caneo, the final straw. I was on a private call, talking about a promotion I hadn't even accepted yet. The next morning, David saw me and said, "Congratulations on the promotion." I froze. "How did you know?" I must have misheard. Sorry if I overstepped. I stood there, shaking, as he walked away. I called Sarah that night, told her everything. She listened quietly. "That's creepy as hell," she said when I finished. "You need to report him." "Report him for what?" I asked. "Knowing things. That's not illegal. It's stalking," she said, "or something close to it. You need to document this. Write down every incident. Dates, times," what he said, "and maybe get a camera." I ordered a small security camera that night, one of those wireless ones you can check from your phone. I set it up the next day, angled at my door from inside the apartment. I also started keeping a notebook, writing down every interaction with David, every strange comment, every impossible detail. The list got long fast. For a few days, he didn't approach me. I thought maybe he'd backed off. Maybe he'd sensed that I was uncomfortable. But then I checked the camera footage. 3 nights in a row, around 2 in the morning, David had stood outside my door. Just stood there. 4 or 5, sometimes 10 minutes. He didn't knock, didn't try. The handle just stood there, facing the door. On the 3rd night, he leaned close to the people. So close that his face filled the entire frame. He stayed like that for almost a minute. Then he walked away. I watched the footage over and over. My hands were shaking. I felt sick. I called the landlord the next morning and told him I needed to break my lease. He asked why. I didn't want to explain, so I made up an excuse about a job transfer. He said I'd lose my deposit. I didn't care. I started packing that weekend. I didn't tell David I was leaving. I avoided him completely. I started timing my exits carefully, always checking the peephole before I even touched the doorknob. I parked my car in different spots every single day. I kept my phone on me at all times, never letting it out of my sight. But somehow, he knew. Of course, he knew. One evening, a knock came at my door. I checked the security camera. It was David. He was standing there, holding a small, neatly wrapped box. I didn't answer. He knocked again. "I know you're home. Aka dead out." His voice was so soft, so polite. "I just wanted to give you something before you leave." My blood ran cold. I stayed completely silent. barely daring to breathe. "It's okay," he continued. "I understand. New job, new city. It's exciting. You'll do great." I hadn't told a single soul about a new job. I'd made it up as an excuse for my landlord, and I'd only told him over the phone, from inside my locked apartment. David knocked one last time. "I'll just leave this here, for you." I heard the soft thud of the box on the floor, his footsteps walking away, and the click of his own door closing. I waited 5 agonizing minutes, watching the camera until the hallway was empty. Then, I quickly unlocked my door, snatched the box, and slammed it shut again. Lock. Chain. The box was light, wrapped in plain brown paper. No card, no label. My gut screamed not to open it, but I had to know. Inside was a small, leather-bound photo album. I opened it. The first page was a picture of me, walking to my car. I was wearing the exact same jacket I'd worn 2 days earlier. I flipped the page. Another picture, me at the coffee shop, sitting by the window. Another, me at the grocery store. Another, me in the hallway of our building, unlocking my own door. There were dozens of photos, all of me, all taken without my knowledge. The very last page had a note, handwritten in neat, careful letters. It said, "You were never alone." I dropped the album. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone. I called the police. 2 officers arrived within 20 minutes. A woman in her 30s, dark skin, hair pulled back in a tight bun, and a man, older, maybe 50, with graying hair and a tired expression. I showed them the album, told them about the comments, the camera footage, everything. The woman, Officer Martinez, took notes. The man, Officer Dodson, looked through the album carefully. His face was grim. "This is definitely concerning," Martinez sighed. "We'll talk to him." "Talk to him?" I said. "He's been stalking me. He has pictures of me. He stands outside my door in the middle of the night." "We understand," Dawson said. "But unless he's threatened you directly or tried to enter your apartment, we can't arrest him. We can file a report and have a conversation with him." I wanted to scream, but I nodded. "Fine, just make him stop." They went across the hall. I watched through the peephole. David answered the door. He looked surprised, concerned. They talked for maybe 10 minutes. I couldn't hear what was said. Then, they left. Martinez came back to my door. He claims the photos were taken in public spaces, and that he was just trying to be friendly. He said he didn't realize he was making you uncomfortable. We've warned him to keep his distance. "That's it?" I asked. "That's all we can do right now," she said. "But if he contacts you again, or you feel unsafe, call us immediately. We'll document everything." They left. I locked my door and sank to the floor. I felt helpless, exposed. That night, I slept with the lights on. I kept my phone next to me. I checked the camera every hour. David didn't come to my door, but I knew he was still there. Across the hall, watching. I moved out 4 days later. I didn't wait for the end of the month. I hired movers, packed everything I could, and left the rest. I broke the lease, lost the deposit. I didn't care. Sarah helped me find a new place across town, a bigger building, better security, a doorman, cameras in every hallway. For the first week, I checked over my shoulder constantly. I changed my routes. I deleted my social media accounts. I bought new curtains, thick ones. Slowly, I started to feel safe again. But then, 3 weeks after I moved, I got a message on LinkedIn. A connection request from David. His profile picture was the same polite smile. Wire-rimmed glasses, button down. Shirt. His message was short. "Hope you're settling in well. The new neighborhood looks nice." I stared at the screen. My hands started shaking. He knew where I lived. I blocked him immediately. Changed all my privacy settings. Made everything private. I reported the message to LinkedIn. But it didn't matter. 2 days later, I found a outside my apartment door. No return address, just my name, handwritten in neat, careful letters. I didn't open it. I took it straight to the police. They opened it Italiano. It was a welcome mat, plain, beige, unremarcable, except for the note inside. Every home needs a good foundation. Officer Martinez filed another report. They increased patrols in my area, but they couldn't do much else. No direct threats. No proof of harm. I installed more cameras, changed my locks, started carrying pepper spray. I stopped sleeping well. It's been 6 months now. I haven't seen David. Haven't gotten any more packages. No messages. No photos. But I can't shake the feeling that he's still watching. I've changed my habits completely. I don't follow routines anymore. I take different routes to work every day. I don't go to the same places twice in a row. I've stopped talking on the phone near windows. I check my car for trackers once a week. My friends tell me I'm being paranoid. That he probably moved on. That I'm safe now. But they didn't see his face in that camera footage. They didn't read that note. You are never alone. I think about that all the time. How long had he been watching me before I noticed? How much did he know? How did he know? I've gone through every possibility. Hidden cameras, hacked devices. Someone at my work feeding him information, but I've checked everything. Had my apartment swept, changed all my passwords, got a new phone. Nothing. And that's what scares me the most, because if I can't figure out how he did it, I can't stop it from happening again. Sometimes, late at night, I'll hear footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment. They'll stop right outside my door. I'll hold my breath and check the camera. No one's there, but I swear I can feel someone standing there, watching, waiting. I tell myself it's just my imagination, that I'm traumatized, that I need therapy. Maybe I do, but I also know what I saw, what I experienced. David knew things about me that no one should have known. He was always there, just at the edge of my life, watching, and I don't think he's stopped. Last week, I was at a coffee shop I'd never been to before. It was across town, nowhere near my apartment or my work. I'd picked it randomly. I ordered a latte and sat down by the window. I was scrolling through my phone when someone sat down across from me. I looked up. It wasn't David. It was a woman, maybe in her late 30s, blonde hair, a kind face. She smiled at me. "Sorry to bother you," she said, "but I think you dropped this." She held out a pen. It was mine. I must have dropped it when I sat down. "Oh, thanks," I said, taking it. She nodded. "No problem." "I'm always losing pens myself." She laughed. "I swear I go through a pack a week at work." I smiled politely, turned back to my phone. "You live in the Riverside Apartments, right? See? Ask it." My blood froze. I looked up at her. "What? The Riverside Apartments?" she repeated. "The building on 5th Street. I think I've seen you there." I didn't live at Riverside Apartments. That was my old building. The one I'd left 6 months ago. "No," I said slowly. "I don't live there." She looked confused. "Oh, I'm sorry." I must have been mistaken. She stood up, smiled again, and walked out of the coffee shop. I sat there, unable to move. I pulled up the camera app on my phone, checked the feed from my apartment. Everything looked normal, but my hands were shaking. I left the coffee shop and went straight home. I locked the door, checked every window, every lock, every camera. Everything was fine, but I couldn't shake the feeling. That woman had known where I used to live, had approached me at a random coffee shop, had asked just the right question. And I realized something that made my stomach turn. David had never been alone in this. He couldn't have been. One person couldn't know everything he knew. Couldn't be everywhere I was. There were others, and they were still watching. I don't know who they are. I don't know how many. I don't know what they want, but I know they're out there. And I know I'll never really be safe, because no matter where I go, no No matter how careful I am, they'll find me. They always do.